In today's video, I want to talk to you about how you can fix your hair transplant scars with scalp micropigmentation. My name's Quaye. I'm a clinical trichologist and specialist scalp micropigmentation artist, helping you guys that are suffering with hair loss. Okay, let's get into the video. As I said previously, this video is all about helping you guys that are suffering with hair transplant scars and how we can combat that and camouflage those with SMP, otherwise known as scalp micropigmentation. I'm going to show you how SMP works and a realistic expectation on what you can achieve with SMP to combat your hair transplant scars. In the video, as always, I'm going to show you some real life examples of what we've done here in the clinic with my very own hands. We don't, anything we talk about, we've either done or we're very knowledgeable about, and we like to show our examples on how we work here. So one of the questions you might be wondering is, why do we get hair transplant scars? Now, obviously, to implant the new hair on top of someone's scalp in the form of a hair transplant, they have to harvest those grafts from somewhere, and they usually take them around the back of the scalp. In some cases, they can take them from your beard or your pubic areas or other areas on the body, but in 90%, I'm not gonna quote percentages, but the back area is where you're usually gonna find the scarring, where the hair transplant surgeon is gonna take the grafts to then implant on the top of your scalp, crown, hairline, wherever you're experiencing hair loss. Now, the most common scars we see are two types. One's called FUT, which stands for follicular unit transplantation, and the other one's called FUE, which stands for follicular unit extraction. Now, there's a slight difference between the two types of scarring, which I'm about to explain to you. So the FUT scar is usually like a linear scar. You know, if it's a good surgeon, it's fairly skinny, but it's a scar that will usually travel from the back of your scalp all the way from one ear to the other. That is called a strip scar, FUT scar. That's how they take the units from there. The other version, which is what we more commonly see today, I think the FUT method was used years ago. I don't think many surgeons use that now, but sometimes we come across clients that have had FUT and FUE, where they've had transplants years ago and then they've had another transplant. But the ones that we see most commonly in our clinic now are the FUE, which again can be found on the back of the scalp, but you'll find loads of little circular scars on the back of the scalp where they just take individual units all the way to the back of the scalp. So both types of scars can be quite noticeable, especially if you're going to sort of keep your hair a skin fade or a buzz cut level. You want to keep it short on the side, back and sides, and grow your hair out on top. Or you might just want to keep it short all over. But what you're going to find is that the scars now become visible. Now, if you've been to a good surgeon, the scars are going to be quite neat. I've seen some really, really good ones, and I've seen some really, really bad ones. In regards to the shape of them, like as in if the scar's a little bit convex or a little bit concave or a little bit discolored, we can't do too much about that. Now, when we're working, the skin is a little bit compromised. Now, working on scar tissue is a lot different to working on someone's scalp where they've got no scarring. You just need to sort of bear that in mind and always come back to the fact that this is a scar camouflage, not a scar get rid of. We can't get rid of the scar, but we can do a really, really good job of camouflaging it. So you might be thinking, well, I don't care about wearing my hair short. I've had the hair transplant, my hair's long, I'm happy. Sweet, if you are happy. But for those of you that are not and you want to keep your hair short, or the transplant hasn't quite given you the density that you need and your hair just generally looks better shorter, then you're going to want to keep your hair short on the back and sides. Now, this is where scalp micropigmentation can really help you. So as I was saying, because we're working on scar tissue, the skin can absorb the pigment a little bit different, an uncompromised area of skin that we're working with. Now, light can bounce off it, reflect off it. Even with normal SMP, in certain lights you're going to get a certain effect, and in some lights, it might drain it out and you might not get full effect. So what I always say to my clients is, look, expect around a 50% improvement. We're going to improve your situation. Some guys that come in and the scars are really cool, really easy to camouflage, and you get a really good result. Other times they're a little bit trickier. It's just everyone's individual. It's just the nature of the beast. Expect around a 50% improvement. We usually shoot a little bit higher than that, but it's all about controlling expectation. I wouldn't want to tell you something that can't be achieved, but 50%, all good. And another thing to note, even though we are camouflaging your transplant scars, it's still going to camouflage best when your hair is at a buzz cut level where those scars are. As soon as you get a little bit of length, it looks like the scars are not covered as well. So we're camouflaging them based on a buzz cut level. Remember that. So the way I like to work, I like to actually hit the scar itself on the first session. It's going to take multiple sessions to cover your scars. I still like to hit them with 3 sessions. The third session might not be doing a lot, but at least we get to see exactly what it's doing before we just get them final little tweaks in. Now, the first session I'm going to be mainly working on the scars. The second session I'm going to be working on the scars and the surrounding areas. Key point, we're trying to camouflage this, so we need the surrounding areas. We can't just hit the scars, because if we just hit the scars, then you're just going to be left with ink coloured scars rather than no ink coloured or no hair areas. Like, it just doesn't make sense. So it's all about the camouflage, and that's what we're trying to do. And you know, it does take it. Look, I'm not taking anything away from anyone, but I do feel it needs an artist that's got experience in working with this kind of skin, but not just one person, like multiple people, because it's not the easiest treatment to do, but when it is done, it's very satisfying, very fulfilling, and yeah, our clients get great amounts of joy being able to rock whatever look they want after it. Okay, so as promised, I'm going to show you some real life case studies of what we've done here in the clinic. Now, my client I'm looking at now, I'm going to be looking and talking to you on screen. So as you can see here, he has had the FUE type of harvesting, which we spoke about earlier. Now you can see that, I mean, look, I'm no barber, but I need to get the job done. I've buzzed his hair down on the back and the sides so that we can work. Now you can see the skin in between, because this client has actually got quite dark hair and quite fair skin, so you can really see the difference between where they've taken the units and where the hair is, and it stands out quite a bit, and rightly so. He's a little bit conscious about it and wants to get them covered up so he can have his hair a little bit shorter. Now, this particular client had around, I think, 7,000 to 8,000 grafts. So earlier on in my career, I used to always deal with people that had around 2,000 to 3,000, and that was kind of the norm. Lately, we've been getting people that have had 8,000, 9,000, up to 12,000. Yeah, which is a lot, but it's not a lot in consideration to the amount of hair follicles you've got on a human head, but it's still a lot to camouflage. So yeah, you can see that. I'm going to actually, that's the photo of it. I'm actually going to show you a little pan over video so you can see exactly the extent of it and how far around it went on his actual, how far around it went to his ears. So there's a lot of coverage there, as you can see. Yeah, to me, it stands out quite a bit. But lucky for him, he's got Willy Boy, who's an expert in scar camouflage. So now I'm just going to show you how we finished him off. And then what I'll do, I'll show you like a before and after, so you can see the difference. Because it's not until you see the after and then you see what we've done, you go, oh, like, I can really see the difference now. So look, this is the video after. I mean, even I'm impressed. I'm not impressed easy, but even I'm impressed. This is what I would call a really successful result. And you'd be hard pushed to find on the internet a better result than this. I'm not just saying that. This is clean. And this is kind of what we want, but we're not always going to get that. It's just really client dependent. But look, you can't even see the difference between his hair, his native hair follicles, and the SMP, which is what we want, you know. Always stick hold of that, you know. We're trying to camouflage, even when we're doing SMP. We don't want people to stop you and go, if you had something done. This is meant to be undetectable. No one's meant to know. This is the point of this. So look, now you can rock around and without a care in the world. Now I'm just going to bring up the before and after, and look at that. That is insane, isn't it? Look at the difference. And that's what we're trying to do. And I get great joy in helping you guys get to that point. So that's what it's all about. We're on this earth. We only get one go. So if I can make you feel better, then happy days. I'm actually going to show you one that I done yesterday, actually. So in the situation I just showed you just now, his transplant was what I probably would call a successful transplant. I actually don't know how much hair he was missing on the crown, but it looks pretty full on top. So I'd say that's successful. In some cases, we don't get as successful transplant guys come in, and I can really see the hair loss on the crown still. It seems quite common, but that might not bother you. You might be okay with that. You know, some people come in and they just want the whole lot done, the top of the scalp and the scars. Some of you guys come in and go, look, Will, I just want the scars done. That's cool, we can do that. So now I'm going to show you an example of a chap that has had just that done. He's had his scars done. He has cut his hair a little bit shorter just to get the work done. But once it's done, he's going to grow his hair out on the top and probably, you know, cover the crown a little bit. But he was only interested in getting the scars done. And that is an option for you. If you're not ready for SMP on the top of your scalp, on the crown, you don't need to do that. You can just get your scars done and be happy with that. So let me show you an example of what we've done. I don't quite know when this video is going out. So at the time of shooting this video, this was the situation when he first came in. Now you can see the scars there, right? Quite visible. I can't remember how many scars he said he had. I think it was about 4,500. Don't quote me. I'm going to show you a little video there and you're going to see the scars, especially at the bottom. You can see they've taken a lot at the bottom. His hair's a little longer than what my previous client I showed you was, but that was due to he was going to a wedding, so we tried to make it work. I could still see what I was doing. You're just not going to get as full on effect at the top areas where the hair's a little bit longer, but nevertheless a massive improvement. He's saying, Will, just get to the point, show me the end result. Okay, fear not, here it comes. So that was before. I'll show you in a different light as well, because I like doing that a lot. So that was in the soft light. This is in the studio light. You can see that. It's probably not focusing too good, but right, okay. So, and then I'll show you how we finished him off. So this was after 3 sessions. I'm just going to overlay that now, and you can see just night and day, miles apart. Like I said, this client didn't want his crown done. Cool, but we got the scars and we got rid of them, and you can't see them now. Mission complete, and that's it. I mean, we've got a lot. We've got a lot of case studies where we've done scars. I need to probably upload a few more on the website. I've got 89 clients on my phone that has not even seen the light of day, and no one has even seen yet. And there's a lot on the back end that I haven't improved to put on the website yet. But that's another story. It's just me being me, and anyone knows me knows what I'm like. But if you would like to see more examples, you're more than welcome to book a call in with myself. We can get that arranged for you. You can come in, we can check out your scars. And when I say perfect candidate for it, if you've had a hair transplant and you've got scars, you want them covered up, you are a candidate for it. The only thing that I would say is controlling expectation based on your result and how the surgeon performed your transplant is how well we can cover it. And lastly, the amount of time since you first had your transplant. Now, 9 to 12 months optimum. And that's about it. That brings us to the close of this video. I hope this video has been helpful and has explained to you how scalp micropigmentation can be used to help fix your hair transplant scars. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below. Our details, well, all of our details can be found on www.scalpnation.co.uk. If you'd like to book in for a call with myself, we can talk about your situation in a little bit more depth, give you some more examples. Other than that, see you on the next one.